And we're back here at Boom and Bust having a conversation with Élie Cantin-Nantel, correspondent for The Hub. Élie, obviously we've talked a lot about the taxation policies here in Canada, some of the structural issues that are affecting the economy that are having really an outsized impact on the younger generation. So what do you think, and based on your research, what sort of structural changes are needed in this country to change minds? Taxation, spending, you name it. Maybe give us the laundry list here.
Yes, yes. I believe just like the causes, the solution is a twofold solution. I was talking to Daryl Bricker, who's uh, the CEO of Ipsos Public Affairs here in Canada. He was saying, well, first of all, you have to rebuild this Canadian foundation. You have to retell the stories. No, Canada is not a evil, racist country. Canada is actually a great country. We're not perfect, but no country is perfect. You can look at any country in the world, Tony, and they have sinned and they have done things that were wrong. We can acknowledge that and acknowledge that that wasn't perfect, but we shouldn't just use that and paint a broad brush to just say that Canada is evil, because Canada is not evil and there's a lot that we have to be proud of. I think more fundamentally too, and this is definitely a bit of a longer, more ambitious things, we have to stop being so obsessed with the United States. CBC and CTV do a US election night special. The local news in Canada talks about US domestic issues that don't even affect Canadians. We need to stop being so focused. We interviewed the U.S. ambassador here at the Hub, Tony, and he said that he had a culture shock when he came here, and he saw that Canadians are always obsessed with U.S. news. I mean, I was even once in the Air Canada lounge at the airport, and our flag carrier was putting CNN on the TV of its domestic lounge at Pearson. It's like, what's going on here? I don't think CBC is playing in the United Club down in Washington, D.C., right? So like this has to change. And then economically, we have to get our economic house in order. The 69 cents dollar cannot be the new normal. We have to do something about housing, and that's simple. We have to reduce immigration, and we're seeing that reducing immigration has led to rents finally going down in this country. And reducing immigration is actually good for the immigrants too, because when they come in, they can finally afford a home. We need to build more homes. We have the largest landmass in the world. We need to expand our economy. We need to lower taxes. Um, all of these things, if we make the quality of life in Canada better, while also stop being so culturally obsessed with the US and telling our stories, I think we will make a much more convincing argument that, hey, young people, stay in this country. This country is great.
We're on the cusp of a federal election. Could be at the time of filming. By the time folks see this, we might be in a federal election. Um, Are you concerned that the issues that you've just enunciated aren't going to be the topics of conversation? It seems to be, at least the way the mainstream media is setting the election dinner table, it's going to be about who can be toughest on President Trump. Is this a concern that you have?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Look, obviously it's going to be an issue, Tony. But it has to be more than just that. I mean, I believe this personally, it has to be a referendum on the last 10 years, but also it has to be a referendum on the next 10 years. And, when I hear Mark Carney last weekend say that Canada's not broken, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. And when I see Polyev be attacked for saying Canada's broken, again, I think Polyev is right. And here's the thing, I'm a patriot. I love Canada very, very much. To say your country is broken does not mean that you hate your country. I believe Canada is broken because it makes no sense that the average house is now, over $1 million in some of the big cities, requiring a income much more higher than the average. I think it's broken because you have the revolving door criminal justice system. We have an addictions problem. We have an economic crisis that was created by over reliance on the US. Actually, this whole crisis just demonstrated our country is broken. The fact that we trade more with the Americans than with ourselves, I believe, just because of all of the international trade barriers. But the hope is it's broken, but let's fix it. Let's make Canada what it used to be, this amazing country that was, not only amazing just by virtue, but amazing economically, amazing for people's dreams and aspirations. And the next election, I believe, has to be about that. And this is why, Tony, we're seeing Mark Carney is very popular with the baby boomers who are very, very happy with him standing up to Trump. But young Canadians are still with Pierre Poilievre. And I don't know about you, but when was the last time that the Liberal Party was ahead with older people and the Conservatives were ahead with younger people? Like, this is pretty phenomenal, if you ask me.
No, it is. atypical, shall we put it that way, Ellie? That's for sure. And I think it'll be interesting to see how that plans out in the next federal election for sure. But I want you to respond to this. We are going to go to break any second now, but you talked about the flag, the Canadian flag, being more prominent. It looks like the Liberal Party, after eschewing the Canadian flag, is now wrapping itself into the flag. So I'd like to hear your reaction to that as a young person. We're going to take a brief break first. We'll be back with our guest after these messages.